This was once a land of fable, of adventure. A magical land full of characters and creatures that resemble those in the stories you've been told. In this land, time is hazy, and everyone spends their lives searching for their happy ever-afters. There was harmony, forces of good working for those happy endings. But evil was always lurking around the corner. Now, a terrible calamity has occurred. A massive explosion, a series of attacks. Our land has lost its magic, drained away by some unknown force. Our realm needs help. People from other places, other worlds, who can use their powers to bring back what we once had. Adventurers, thank you all for coming. Our fate now rests on your shoulders. Welcome to Reverie.
Once upon a time in Reverie, a great cataclysm has shaken the world of Reverie. The magic of the world has been drained after a violent explosion at the castle. Althea, known as the fairy godmother, made a desperate attempt to find aid and brought our heroes from other worlds to help. All were faced with a glowing hand and a choice. Some came for redemption or curiosity, some came out of simple altruism, but all of our heroes agreed to be pulled into the unknown to help this unfamiliar world. When they arrived, our heroes were shocked to meet seemingly fictional characters like the fairy godmother and Peter Pan. After learning about the crisis, they traveled to spy on the infamous Captain Hook and spotted a large magical ring on his finger. They returned to the Lost Boys tree to regroup and start to plan their next move. So I believe where we left it last time was right there where you guys had returned. We kind of implied that we'd at some point there be long resting, but obviously we hadn't done any combat, so I don't think we need to worry about that yet. So you return to the tree, and Althea is unsurprisingly waiting for you, wanting to see how things went. I'm assuming you all walk up to her. Is anyone, would anyone be leading the way? I feel like it might have been Zephyr, but Zephyr's not here. I mean, Zephyr is here. We're going to play as best we can, pretending Zephyr's there. Okay, so Althea begins to speak with you, barely gets any words out, before she suddenly has a very strong reaction, drops to her knees, makes another sound of distress, I guess I'd say, and you all hear another explosion. The sound of one, the same thing you heard as you first entered through the portal. So then let me jump back a second. That is where you are. Lay, Anastasia, you are in the library in your castle. Can you describe that a little bit for the rest of us?
So it is a very... It has an elven library, so it's going to be like oak trees and, oh gosh, I'm losing my voice. Like big oak trees with like willow trees, all aligned with thousands of books. And it's just like this enormous, like very fancy library, swirling little archways and everything like that.
And can you describe Anastasia a little bit for us?
Yeah, she's just a little guy. She's just a little guy. I sent a thing in the art channel. She has platinum blonde hair, green eyes. She has on various like pastel kind of green dress on, and she has a tiara that has a lunar moth on top of it. If you notice a lot of things, she's very lunar moth. But she's an elf little lady.
Okay. So Anastasia I'm assuming she's reading something in the library then.
Probably.
Probably. So she's sitting and reading something she's found, and suddenly she hears just a little bit of like energy surge and a pop, and there is a circle of magic, and a magical hand reaches out. It's very clear that it's not corporeal. Um, and she hears this. Another realm needs your help. You'll see the best and worst that kingdoms have to offer. Will you come learn while you save a world in peril? Will you help?
Uh, this is. Oh no, that was my accent. I lost. See, I can't do my accent anymore ever since last session. Uh, I guess so. Yes. I will come. Yes. And she
And the
reaches
hand is
out for
kind of
her.
like, yeah, and once you get, so yeah, there's a moment where she feels the hand close around hers and it pauses. And it's very clear there's a moment of, are you sure? Unspoken, are you sure? And then she's yanked. And now we are back to where everyone is. Pops, you guys aren't over there, so you'd have to go running to see it. But Anastasia, you suddenly appear. Around you is a very, Jesus Christ, sorry. It's fun having dogs. One. Around you, you see a very obvious ritual circle. Um, oh my God. I literally can't even see anything. I have no idea what's making them lose their mind. And in front of you is a ritual circle, not like blood. It's not like dark and profane ritual circle. It's more good witch ritual circle. Yeah, small items and things and like drawing in the dirt, but not with like blood or anything. And in front of you is what is very obviously an ancient tree, with a large variety of kind of ragtag items almost in there. You can spot a small boat shoved in one of the tree branches. There's lots of like little hammocks. You can kind of make out a bunch of little lanterns. And you can see a wide variety of people near and far that are gathered around this tree. And every single one of them is staring at you in shock. Very, very confused. I assume the party comes running.
Is Althea okay? Like, is she standing back up or is she like down?
She is down on her knees, but she is very clearly not like, she's not passed out. She doesn't have any visible injuries. She looks very similar to like she did when you first came through, where she is clearly out of breath and weakened, but she is in no immediate danger.
I think that Leo would probably help her up before he went over, so he might be trailing behind a little bit.
That would make sense.
Peter and a few other
she
NPCs
would
are
thank him
also
for that.
probably going to jump in to help.
Sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of what you said, Jupiter.
Peter and a few other NPCs will probably be jumping in to help Althea as well.
Yes. Yeah. So she would immediately thank Leo, but would probably say, I don't think I can make it over there. Can you please go see it? I didn't expect another one.
I would say that, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that Mal is probably definitely one of the first people to go over and look, but like when the explosion first goes off, she's definitely like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me this time, I swear. Like she is definitely one of those people for whom explosions are a routine part of her life, and most of the time it is in fact her.
The Master of Darkness just kind of whips. He like jumps a little at the noise, whips his cape over his head, and disappears into the shadows. And then Chauncey's like, that sounded like another one. And Patrick just kind of goes over to the general area and just, hello, but he's not facing you at all. My name's Patrick. Where do you come from? Sorry, I'm blind.
Yeah, so just if you're not clear of this, Lay, that is a small mouse.
Can
It's a
we
little brown
take a
mouse.
second to re-describe our characters to Lay?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead? Em, do you want to start with the boys?
Yeah, the Master of Darkness is a little black mouse in a cloak. And so he is a rogue. He disappeared into the shadows. Patrick is a chubby little brown mouse with a sword and a shield. He wears like a little cloth over his eyes so you can tell he can't see. And then Chauncey is like a tall white mouse who like stands up straight and has a cane and little like spectacles that are like dark. And he just kind of like stands behind Patrick, like, I'll let him handle this kind of thing.
So it sounded like Mal would be the next behind. I was talking with Joey about this. I feel like at this point, Mal has to still be in her armor. I don't think she would have just left it at the tree originally. So if you want to describe Mal and her unique look at the moment.
Yes. So Mal is a can never say this word right. She is an artificer. So she's very small, but you can't really tell because she's wearing a suit of arcane armor. So it's like, sorry, I'm like reading directly from a description. It's made of brass and it's got like what looks like hieroglyphics engraved into its metal plates. And she has gems on the gauntlets. They're like little pink tourmaline gems, and then the ends have claw-like extensions on them, and like everything is like lion themed, and she's got a little tiara on her head that kind of looks like a miniature solar disc. But like Mal herself is like she's really tiny and chunky and super freckly. She's got like strawberry blonde hair that she wears in a braid and like big round glasses and just like the bitchiest little face.
So just so that I have it pictured right in my head, she does the armor goes up to like here, so you can still see her hair and her face. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so like the headpiece is literally just like a tiara circlet kind of thing.
okay. And I would assume that if Mal is the next up, Milo is right behind Mal. If you want to describe Milo
Oh,
for LA.
So the best way to describe Milo is Rick O'Connell with a mustache.
O'Connell from The Mummy.
Yeah, except he's got like the Dimitri hairstyle from Anastasia, and he's got these big brown eyes and this handlebar mustache, and he's got this very crooked looking staff slung over his back. And of course he's wearing suspenders. Yes, that's all.
I'm gonna do my best I'm not really gonna play Zephyr today, but Zephyr and Kier would also be in the mix. Do we have art of Zephyr in there?
I have Zephyr, Anastasia, and literally 2 things left of the mice to do.
Okay.
So I have not done them yet.
Okay. Well, I can Zephyr and Kier are basically a bonded pair. Zephyr is Ellie's character, but Kier is the companion of Zephyr. Kier is a what appears to be essentially a very large horse. That is I don't know at this moment. I think I would assume that Zephyr's probably gotten off of Kier at this point, but they were traveling on Kier at one point. Yeah, I'll leave that to Ellie when Ellie is here. So then I guess would be Triss next, since Leo's probably last.
Okay. So Triss is a tiefling. She is quite buff. She's a paladin. Magenta skin. I don't remember what her hair color. Did I go with the white hair color again? I did. Okay. Of course I did. And she's got, I was gonna say she is in full plate armor, would be in full plate armor at this point. And I was gonna say that's about all that I've got for her. Thank you. Okay.
And then bringing up the rear would be Leo.
Leo is a human, dark-haired, pale-skinned, blue-eyed human, fairly thick sideburns. He's wearing chainmail armor. He's a cleric, and is carrying a fairly large warhammer and a beautiful stained glass-looking circle shield. And he is like he looks like he was carefully put together 3 days ago. And he looks just gently disgruntled and very tired.
So you have all arrived at and Anastasia, something to consider. You have arrived in whatever you would consider like your battle armor. What would you wear if you knew you were like potentially going to go into combat or you're going on an adventure? Whatever she would be wearing and carrying, she would have. So does that affect what she's wearing now? I was wondering. I thought it might not. Okay. So Althea isn't there to react. She is back where she was. She wasn't up to coming over there. So I don't know if any of y'all have questions for Anastasia.
I know, was it one of the second rat came and greeted her in a just general direction.
Hello, I'm Patrick.
Oh, hello, I'm Anastasia.
And he whips towards in the right direction, walks over and just
She bends down.
he shakes her hand. How are you?
Confused. I'm confused.
Yes, everyone else was when they got here as well. It's perfectly normal.
Oh, that's nice to know.
I don't have anything to offer you, but there's a tree. You can come in.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's just go into the tree.
And then the white mouse behind him speaks up and says, well, maybe we should introduce you to everyone else first and figure out why you're here.
Yes, that sounds like a plan, I guess. Yes.
Right. This way. And he kind of turns and just like they scuttle in front of you up over to Althea, I guess, and where Leo was.
Yeah, I would say by this point, Althea has been able to get back up. If you couldn't tell before, she is definitely not doing great. And any semblance of her like recovering since you all first arrived is now gone. She is very unwell. Again, doesn't look like she's in immediate peril, but she looks like she needs to sleep for like several days. She sees Anastasia and it takes her a moment because she is very confused. And then she kind of mumbles under her breath, kind of speaking to herself, and just says, well, I suppose I should have known better. It's not like I understand the magic I did. And then speaks up to where she's more clearly speaking to the group, but especially Anastasia. Thank you for coming through and being willing to help us. My name is Althea. I'm commonly known here as the fairy godmother. I'm not quite sure what happened. As you can see, there are other adventurers here who arrived a little bit before you. But I will admit that this is the first time I have attempted anything like this spell, so it makes sense that it would not go exactly how I expected it to. Um, I'm sure you're very confused about what's happening. Um, I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you more when you were invited. I didn't exactly have control. Uh, this is, and you can see her like trying to remember her speech that she had from last time and being like, oh, shit, I've forgotten what I came up with. Um, this is this is Reverie. Welcome. Um, I I have reached out to other realms, as you can see by the variety of heroes here, for aid after a terrible thing has happened here. There was an explosion at our, well, at the main castle, and uh, well, ever since the magic of this world has faded away, and given that magic is a bit of a central part of our world here. It's been a bit of a disaster. Um, we we have tried to investigate. We have tried to do something about it, but given that all of us have lost our abilities, it feels a little bit hopeless. So I attempted this ritual to bring in those who would have the magic from their world, who could come in and help us seem to set things to right. Um, so thank you. Uh, I'm afraid we haven't, you're not that far behind. We haven't figured out that much yet. And she kind of turns to the party. Were you able to discover much with Hook?
The way I remember nothing.
Y'all are good.
He had
he has
something
a fancy
magical
coat. He had a fancy coat and a ring.
and a magic ring, right?
Yeah, fancy coat sounds familiar. Magical ring does not. He's usually one to, well, I think he associates most magic with Peter, and therefore he wants nothing to do with it most of the time. Um, I suppose she kind of like glances around, feeling a little bit at a loss, and her eyes fall on Mal specifically, noticing how I can only imagine that Mal's like face, like her head seems very small for the armor, I'm guessing. That it's like little head poking out of this big thing. Um, I suppose before we do anything else, it would make sense for all of you to, well, get comfortable here, assuming that kind of shrugs and she kind of looks down at herself and says, well, I suppose I should make sure that Anastasia understands that unfortunately I don't have a way of sending you back until some of the magic has been returned. As soon as I have the ability to, I am happy to try to find a way to send you back if you would like to, even if things aren't completely fixed. But as of this moment, it seems like making everyone comfortable is the best bet. I don't think any of us are going to be able to go much of anywhere for a little while at least. Um, uh, Perhaps we could show you around the camp a little bit. I know that Zephyr was a little bit concerned about defenses. I think at the moment we've just been concerned about combining our people here and pooling our knowledge to figure out what to do. Perhaps we can show you some of what we have set up, and then all of you could find a place for yourselves where you can, and again, she looks back at Mal, be a little more comfortable.
Well, as a paladin, oh wait, what was that accent? God, I can't do accents anymore, guys. They're gone. Well, as a paladin, I felt like it is my duty to help do whatever you need me to. So, Wherever you need me, I will be.
Mal is giving this woman massive side eye. She cannot tell you why she doesn't like her. She's just giving her side eye.
It's gonna be enemies to lovers.
Lee, what is
Good
your
luck.
what is your passive perception?
My passive perception is 15.
You feel something scurrying across your shoulder.
Oh, hello?
It is just a little black mouse with a cape over his head. And he's just like holding a little piece of your hair. And he's just, oh, I like your hair.
I like your cape.
You do.
Yes.
And he just like kind of stands up a little straighter. And my name is the Master of Darkness.
Wow, that's such a good name. My name's just Anastasia.
Anastasia's a beautiful name.
So as yours.
Thank you. I chose it myself.
That's brilliant. That's a good name.
May I accompany you into the tree?
I would enjoy that, yes.
I'll just stay here.
Oh, of course.
He just kind of like flops himself on your shoulder.
I am best friends with the mouse already. Let's go.
All right. Yes. Oh, hello. It's not time for dinner yet. You can chill. Okay. I'm in the middle of something. So, the first, you are not helping with me focusing. The first place. Okay. I don't know if Peter would take them there first. I'm thinking like Peter might want to show them Tank.
Althea mentions the tour and he's like, oh, we can go see Tink. Let's go see Tink. And he just kind of starts jumping and kind of like moving his arms like, let's go. We'll see the fairies.
Tink, as in Tinkerbell.
Well, of course.
She looks very excited, like, as in like Tinkerbell, her childhood hero. Not that she's going to tell anybody else that, but like one tinker to another. Yes.
Absolutely. So he just kind of like broadly gesturing, starts leading the way down the hall to where the fairies are. But as they start to get closer, his kind of like buoyant energy kind of like slowly eases down until he's like very quietly walking down the hallway to where they go. And he kind of peeks into the room really quickly before he goes in, before gesturing everybody to follow.
Okay, so when you guys enter in here, this is one of the places that's actually kind of in the tree-ish. And what you see is pretty obviously a makeshift infirmary. This is pretty obviously not the original purpose of this little. It's really more of an alcove because, you know, it's for fairies and they're a lot smaller than you. I'm going with fairies being like, I don't know, the size of your face-ish, at their tallest. So, yeah, more of an alcove. You can see that this was not what it was supposed to be for. And there's a whole bunch of like beds shoved together, like in rows, like it's a makeshift infirmary, and like little bits of nonsense, like little bits of moss and almost like lint that have been like used to make like little blankets or like little rugs in front of the stuff. Like it looks very much like a little kid's dollhouse, that they've had to make out of like bits and bobs instead of like getting the fancy one bought for them. And you can see that in almost every single bed, there is a very small figure. Um, variety of variety of outfits, variety of looks, but all very identifiable, like, oh yeah, fairy, like the exact kind of things you expect of like pretty little floaty dresses, and they all have little pointed ears, and they all have very like elfin, cute little features. Um, and they almost all seem to be in not quite unconscious, but very listless. Kind of like a kid when they have a fever, and they're kind of in and out. And they're very clearly not going to get out of that bed, except for one of them who is clearly also not doing great, but seems to have a little more energy than the rest of them, who was laying on the bed. And then as soon as she spots Peter, pops herself up and even kind of does like very clearly does a little like hop up and then regrets it. It's like, ooh, and comes and goes, oh, Peter, it's so good to see you. Oh, and you've brought friends.
Right.
Oh, I'm betting that was the explosion sound, wasn't it?
It was very clever, Tink. These
Thank
are
you.
our heroes of the realm, apparently. That Althea
Ooh,
was
how exciting. Well, I am so glad to meet all of you. My name is Tinkerbell. I would love to introduce you to all my sisters and friends, but you can see that we're not doing so great right now. Um, it's a little bit hard when you're mostly magic and then the magic disappears on you. Uh, doesn't make for a fun time. Um, but we're getting through, so we really appreciate all of you coming in here. Um, and you can see like little heads popping up around these little beds, like being like, oh, what's happening? But clearly just not being in good enough shape to like get up and come and greet you. Um, some of them you can even hear like little like sad noises because they clearly want to like come and say hi, but they're just like, they're not up for it at all.
Mal very desperately wants to say hi to Tinkerbell, but like the suit is becoming a problem. It is too big. So she's like pounding on the chest, like trying to get it to retract into the like little pendant that she wears. And she's just like, bloody thing. Oh, oh. And then it finally like sucks back into the necklace with like a weird pop noise. And she's just here like bloody armor. I really need to look at that again.
Milo pats
And
on
like
her shoulder and is just like, we've got plenty of oil. Don't worry about it.
through this entire thing, Tinkerbell's eyes have somehow grown even bigger. They look like they're taking up her entire face now. And she's just like, are you okay?
Oh, perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Just routine maintenance. Yes, perfectly fine.
And
I
since you're kind of finally like for the first time really take stock of your armor, wow, that's pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Oh, you think so? I built it myself. That's that's the highest honor to hear from you. Um, thank you.
Oh my, Arabella is gonna love you. You two are gonna have so much fun together. I can't wait. Uh, I could never do something like that. But I could anytime you want to help you spruce it up a little bit. And then you just see her like it clicks again in her head and she just drops her face. She's like, well, or maybe once things pick back up again, I can.
Mal is just like sh suddenly very red. It's pretty obvious that like nobody has ever been um well, besides Milo, like nobody's ever really been proud of her work or encouraging of it. So she's just like really flustered all of a sudden and like tucks behind him to hide her embarrassment and like just, not be so visible.
He realizes what she's doing and tries to like make himself look a little bigger to kind of like block her.
Leo's just gonna wordlessly hand her the flask.
She's gonna knock back probably 2 shots worth.
God, me deciding which thing to react to. I think is Leo trying to be subtle with this or not? Okay, so Tink sees this and gets a little. What is it? I want to know. I want some.
He immediately looks panicked and turns to Peter.
Peter's just like,
No, I'm not. She's gonna jump in. She's not even gonna let him say anything. She stomps her foot on the ground. Is like, excuse me, I may be little, but I bet I'm older than you are.
You're very small.
Obviously, I'm not gonna take the same kind of sip as you are, but also,
Peter produces an acorn cap.
He will very gingerly pour like a couple drops into the acorn cap.
What is it? I've forgotten what you decided it was.
I think we decided it was whiskey.
Okay. So she'll take the acorn cap from Peter and like drink a tiny bit of it and just like, ugh, never been my favorites, but it goes down good. And which mouse was on Anastasia's shoulder?
The Master of Darkness.
Okay. Where is Chauncey?
Chauncey is just like, as they enter, he just kind of goes over and like starts like checking in on the patients and, just immediately goes right to work.
So she'll turn around and notice where Chauncey is and be like, Chauncey, it's good to have you back.
She waves at first, and there is absolutely no change because he can't see. And and then he hello, Tink. It's good to be back. How are our patients faring?
You can see her like wave, and when he finally turns, she's like, well, I mean, about the same. It's so frustrating. I wish I could do something for them, but it just can't. I mean, I can't do anything anyways either now.
Well, hopefully that's what our friends are here for. And he kind of vaguely gestures up at the big people.
The big people. And I think, yeah, at this point, Tink is gonna finally like take a stab at doing some flying. She has literal wings, so even though magic is gone, she can still fly. So she does a little bit of a slow pass around so that she can get a better view at each of you, and then comes right back. It's clear that like that took effort when it usually would take no effort to do any of that. And she sits back on her little bed, but is still like sitting up and paying attention to all of you. Well, I don't know much about where y'all of you come from, but I think you're going to do a great job. I know that me and all of my friends will be very grateful if you can help us out. Uh, we'd love to help with any of this. It's just sort of hard when we can barely take care of ourselves right now.
Chauncey comes over with a wet rag and just kind of pats her forehead.
She's not like it wouldn't be a deception role. It's a performance role. She kind of leans into it and plays sickly a little bit extra there of like, oh, thank you. Like wanting him to feel good about it. Um, I think at this point, who has the highest passive perception? Let's find that out.
I have 15.
17.
Anyone over 17? Okay. So Milo notices several little kids of rather indistinct gender, they all are, kind of creeping their way in and watching. And they're not really looking at you. They've seen all of you. They are looking in at the fairies, and they're clearly very concerned. Not sure how to handle having their friends be this unwell.
So they're just like creeping around?
They're not. I don't know. I hesitate to use the word creep. They creep without having to try to at all times. They are very unnoticeable. That's what they're good at. So it's not so much that they're like trying not to be spotted. It's just that they can just walk around and barely be spotted anyways. So it's more that you've finally noticed. They've probably been there for longer than you've noticed them.
So when he sees them, he's gonna kind of like lean back to Mal and be like, "Do you see those kids, or am I going insane?"
She hesitates for a minute because she really wants to fuck with him. But then she like kind of looks. She's like, nope, they're there. Not insane for once.
Well, that's a relief.
Do you want to go talk to them? Are you going to influence them poorly like you have me?
It'll be fun.
Difference is they're actual children and they're not, young,
Exactly.
impressionable women.
You say that like I like misled you or something.
She bats her eyelashes at him and doesn't say anything.
That's what I thought.
I think at some point here, again, their natural talents are not being noticed and noticing everything. So this little crowd, I'm gonna say just like crowd of like three of them. One of them notices that like you've spotted, and then you're turning and like leaning into someone like, do you see them? And he turns to the other one and like whispers something that there's like you can't roll high enough to hear it, and it's probably in like their own street code or something, anyways, of like children who know each other too well kind of code. And like tugs on the sleeve of one of them, the one that it's whispering to, and that one kind of takes a step forward and is like, so hi, and kind of addresses the whole group.
What you doing spying there on us?
I guess that's what we do. We were really just here to check on our friends, but Pockets did tell me that if you guys were around, that I should come take you to him. So, yeah. Do you want? Can you? You should come meet Pockets. It's like really obvious that this child is like not used to being the spokesperson. That like if it wasn't these other two specific children with them, there's no way that this one would be the one talking. But these two are even quieter and less willing to speak up. So this one had to.
Milo's gonna crouch down, like hands on his knees, and like just get eye level with these kids. Now, who's Pockets?
I knew someone named Pockets once. He was a circus clown. Didn't like him. Hope this Pockets is better.
Same.
They kind of chuckle under their breath, and it's like, yeah, he's not a clown. Sometimes he thinks he is. Well, I mean, Pockets is she like turns to her friends, being like, and they both are just like, I mean, Pockets has a lot of pockets and does a lot of things for some of the adults. So he usually likes to get to know anyone that comes around here for the first time.
You realize how sketchy that sounds, kid.
I can see why it would seem that way. Um, I don't know. He's a good guy. Uh,
You know what? All right, fine. I'll go with you.
I assume the mice know pockets, right?
yes, the mice with no pockets.
Patrick will just kind of come up. It's all right, friend. Pocket's not gonna hurt you.
Mal lets out a squeak at the mice. She's like getting better, but she's taken off guard, so she like squeaks a little bit and steps back, just like, fuck.
You all right? What happened?
Don't worry about it. Just go back by your little brothers there.
They're busy.
I said what I said.
Anyway, I'll come with you to go see Pockets.
Tinkerbell chimes in. Oh, y'all love Pockets. He's a delight to be around. And it would give me a chance to take another nap. So why don't you all go meet him and I'll see you later, okay? And she was like, again, it would be a performance check, not a deception check. She's like big show of a big yawn and does a little and lays down in bed.
You want me to stay and watch the infirmary, Tink? Chauncey.
Like, she just kind of like waves. Like, it's fine.
All right, you've got it.
I think while this was happening, like while the conversation was happening about pockets, Leo is kind of looking around, trying to take it like what they're using for medical supplies. And watching Chauncey make his rounds.
I will say it's how to put this. You're seeing classic D&D levels of medicine, if that makes sense. I will go ahead. I'm not even going to make you roll for it because this is your whole bag. This is what you do. It's also painfully obvious that they don't usually do this without magic. So, like, they're doing their best. They're not doing something stupid or anything, but like, no one's going to get helped by anything they do. They're keeping them comfortable as best they can, but like they have no idea how to help anyone without their magic to like fix anything. But you know, at the same time, you know that if you saw someone, you know, you're sure it's obviously probably not literally a fever, but if you saw someone looking like this, you would probably just be telling them like, oh yeah, you know, take care of yourself and rest and you'll probably be better. Who knows if that'll actually work for them, but none of them look like, oh my gosh, like they clearly need this. And if they don't, they're going to die. They just don't look well.
I think he's more taking in like what they're using, particularly with like what has been collected to be made into medicine, stuff like that. Just anything that would be different from what he's used to so that he can work on helping people in this realm with what they have. So he's just kind of taking, and you don't need to like explain different things because but I think he's just looking for like ways that he can help, things that he can offer to Chauncey from his medical bag, and like things that they seem to be collecting, anything that like he can put to use.
Well, so you're probably not going to get much information from this from this area because no one's really trying to do much besides keep them comfortable. Like, so you're not seeing them. And And it's also very makeshift, so it's not like you can see like what bottles are on the shelf because there aren't any, because this is clearly not supposed to be, you know, an infirmary or anything. This is just they're all staying in one place to keep track of each other and make sure everyone's safe. Um, you know, the clothes, Chauncey is keeping them comfortable more than anything else. Yeah. Okay, so unless anyone has any objections, are we all following these small children? Cool. So these small children lead you away from the actual tree. I mean, not far, but kind of like you're going around the tree and you're a little bit further away from it. And I want to reference Baldur's Gate here. If you've been to the Druid's Grove in Baldur's Gate at the beginning and you see the little child who has his own makeshift stall to sell things, that is what you see. It is clearly a little bit less makeshift than everything else. This was not put together yesterday. This has been here for a while, and he is very used to his little space. I don't, Jupiter, if you want to post the art for him. Well, the art. When I say art, I mean I went and made a pic crew for him. Oh, and you could post Tink too if you wanted. Tink is enough. I didn't describe Tink because Tink is pretty much exactly what you expected. Tink has stuck to form here. So you see this small child, although he would be very angry to be called a small child, at his little like makeshift table. There's not so much like a bit up top advertising because he doesn't have to. There's random assortment of like junk slash some things that might be a little more useful spread out across this table. You can also see that the name pockets is there for a reason. He's wearing the fantasy version of cargo pants. He has sewn pockets all the way down both of his legs, and they are like crammed full of stuff. You cannot tell what, but it is clear that like they're all like you can see things like poking the pockets out all the way up and down both of his legs. He is like cramming full of little stuff. Yeah, and he's got in the picture you just have like the feather and the necklace, but he's also kind of like wearing a bunch of junk. And it's hard to tell like what's junk and what's not junk. So he's got like some feathers and crap like that in his hair. He has like a couple of rings on his finger, but again, like one of them looks like it's just like a twig wrapped, like a little kid's kind of wrapping a twig around their finger, while another one of them looks like it might actually be gold. Who fucking knows? And he's got like several necklaces on him. He's got the scarf. He's got like all the stuff pots stuffed all over him, basically, compiling things. Yeah, as you approach, he like comes out from behind his thing and is like, "Oh, hey, it's the heroes! I'm so glad to meet all of you."
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Ooh, an accent on this one. That's exciting.
Thank you.
I take it your pockets, judging by the
Pockets.
Yeah, we'll give it away.
pockets.
Yeah, I do like me some pockets. And he like slaps a few of his pockets.
So, we were told you wanted to meet us.
Tell you, I know it's you have to wait. Yeah, I always like to meet any big people that come around here. Let my services be offered to you. If you can't tell, I am quite the collector of things, but I'm also known to be able to source things. Now I'm no Scheherazade, I'm no genie. I can't find you a missing diamond in the middle of the desert, but I can find you something a little simpler than that. Especially in these hard times, I can help find the basics that you need. You know, give me some kind of cool trade. Let me have some fun new thing, and I'll find you what objects you need.
So we just come to you whenever we're in need of anything.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say anything. Look, I'm no fairy godmother. I'm not gonna be able to whip you up something. I've never bothered to learn any of that magic stuff. Apparently, doesn't matter now, anyways. Um, and I'm no Arabella. I can't make you anything. But if you need to find something, I can usually find it for you, or at least I don't know, give you a lead on it. Things though, not people. That's gonna be more the rabbit's deal, or maybe Philippa. But I'm your things guy, your stuff.
So
Or if you find something cool, always let me know if you find something cool. I always want to see cool stuff.
Milo leans down to like eye level. What's the catch?
Catch. Sir, I am offended. I may pull a prank once in a while.
So you
But I
expect
am
me
not.
to believe that you're going to do all this for free?
Well, of course not. You gotta give me something cool. I gotta find you gotta hand something over, of course. But I mean, obviously, with feeling a little like the end of the world, I'm gonna go easy on you. But 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 yeah, I mean, I do usually expect something. But hey, I mean, y'all seem to be and he kind of like takes in this varied and weird group of people. Um, I would bet that all of you have something cool in your pocket right now that I'd love. So probably be easy for you. Everyone here, I've seen all the stuff they've got. You probably got cool stuff I've never seen before.
Mal like pats down the front of herself and she's like, no pockets here.
And he just takes a second and like stares in wonder at this armor. That is cool. Where did that come from? Like, did you buy that somewhere?
All in the strange odyssey that's my brain, little man.
And you see him like definitely have to think for a second because you just used a big word and he's like, Odyssey, Odyssey. And he's like, so you made that yourself?
Sure did. Not sure why that's so surprising to everybody.
Well, I mean, I've never seen anything like it before, and I've seen stuff. Wow. Especially the pink things. What are the pink things?
They're tourmalines, shiny rocks, ring a bell.
I've never heard of it. I swear to God, Julio, get off of her. That's disgusting. Um, sorry. I don't think we have those. Do you? I mean, I'm guessing based on it being a part of all of that, that it's kind of a big deal. But do you have like a little thing? Like a little one?
No, not that I would give you, sorry. They're pretty rare even in my world. No
Dang.
offense. We don't just give things away, so
Well, I didn't expect you to just give it to me. I would find something you liked. I mean, if you find a little speck of one of those in your pockets, just let me know and be happy to trade for something. Um, uh, oh, I feel like Althea said something to me. Oh, yeah, I think I'm supposed to. She told me to help if you have anything that like you need that didn't come with you. I wasn't quite sure what she meant, but like She said she'd find me something for me if I needed help any of you with like, I don't know. I didn't really get it. What is she like came through? What does she mean by came through?
Did some magicy thing. I can't
like,
say I understand it, but
Not
since
sure
we're
any
here,
of us understand it.
since we're here, Pockets, you get that cheese we talked about.
You know, I think, and he like he goes to the side, and you notice that there is like basically like a legal pad, the fantasy version of a legal pad, sitting on the side of the table, and it has like absolutely indecipherable scribbles. Like this doesn't even look like he's trying to write words; it just looks like scribbles. And he looks over at it and is like, I think I'm still waiting on Chance to find that and bring it back. But I think he's out there right now because we found where we found it. He just isn't back yet. Why don't you ask me again tomorrow? I bet he'll be back by then and I'll have it for you.
All right, I'll check then. Thanks, Pockets.
Anytime. And he kind of turns to Grim and was like, you can see if you are unsure of my intentions here, my wonderful friends here, the mice, know that I'm a good guy. I just want to be friends with all of you and see all the shiny things you bring back from your adventures.
Pockets, and this is Chauncey. We were told that you wanted to see us. Was it just for this, or did Althea have something to say?
Oh, I mean, I just wanted to introduce myself. I think Althea knows better usually than to give me messages because they usually get lost or I forget.
Yes,
Yeah. But yeah, I think I just told I told Wen that if he found you to say something. Thinking of shiny things, and he like does another once over of that armor, like pretty. Very like um I I I I I think you want to meet Arabella. Yeah, I think you'll get along well. He's pointing at Mal. Sorry, I should have made that clear.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
Leo's still like shouldering his warhammer, and he's gonna kind of like roll his shoulder and be like, where are we supposed to be finding rooms?
That is a great question. So the thing is, I don't really know if there's anyone like super in charge right now because usually I would tell you to go ask Peter. But I'm assuming Peter stayed back with Tink and is not there right now. Usually I would tell you to like go ask Peter about it, but given and he kind of just gestures wildly, all of this, I don't know if he kind of like looks around and lowers his voice. I don't know if everything's really like Peter's thing anymore. It kind of seems like you just make a spot where you got a spot. If you look over there, and he kind of points vaguely, but you can see it. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can use if you want to make a tent. They've just kind of left it over there because people keep coming in here. And if you're wanting to find a spot in the tree, I mean, I guess you would maybe ask Peter. You could even ask Tank. She usually knows what's what in there. You can look around. I don't know about you. Like, I don't know any of you very well yet, but I will just say I would recommend not in the tree. There's just a lot going on and a lot of people all the time. Doesn't really make sense to me to want to sleep in there, but everyone does what they want to do. Uh, I I would recommend stopping by Arabella, but if you need to take a rest first, I think everyone will understand that. It's been a long day, I'm sure, for all of you. I can't imagine suddenly being in any of your places.
Well, if you'd like, we'd be happy to show you to Arabella's, and then everyone can take their time and sit up for the evening.
Oh, you know what? Oh, there's someone else you got to talk to. You got to talk to the rabbit. I would, and you could just, you can kind of see on his face that, he is suddenly nervous. I would not make him mad, and I think if you are here a full day without talking to him, I don't, I don't think he's gonna love that. I mean, and he turns to the mice. I mean, you guys kind of know how he is. I'm betting.
Well, we're happy to show everyone around. There's he sniffs the air. Some light left in the day.
There's a moment where Leo goes to question an angry rabbit, looks at the mice, and then like audibly clicks his mouth shut.
What was that? Did you want to? Sorry, did I interrupt?
Nope, nope, nothing, nothing at all. Rabbit.
Right, off to the rabbit then.
Is everyone cool if we take a break here for a couple minutes? I need to feed my dogs before they eat me. Okay, so the mice are leading everyone. Um, the first step was Arabella, and she is not that far away, so she's kind of on the way. So along the side of the tree is a little a little crafting station set up, and you see Jupiter. You could post the picture for her as well. You see. Sorry, I play the other thing. You see a young woman with brown hair and a very hasty braid. An attempt was made to tie the flyaways back with a ribbon. It's not doing a very good job with it. She is deep in work on what appears to be a small hand mirror. She's fully like mumbling to herself, leaning in with the worst posture ever, fussing with it. She has a huge set of like the jeweler's magnifying glasses on her that you can get like smaller and smaller on, and another set of regular glasses right next to her on the table. And she at first does not at all notice any of you showing up next to her. She is completely lost in thought.
Hello? Arabella, hello?
She whips her head up so fast that like her braid smacks her.
Oh.
And her like the glasses like go riding up really high where she's oh, okay. All right. Hi, sorry. one sec. Because she tries to look up with these on and is like, crap.
Too close.
And takes these off, puts the other set of glasses on that are normal glasses. It's like, oh, hi. Clearly a little bit overwhelmed by being surrounded by
So such hotness. Everybody's so hot.
um, she is clearly someone who has a lot of like natural beauty, but does not fucking care about her appearance. Just wants hair out of face, just is like wearing very practical clothes to like be able to work, and has like a full length apron on so that anything that's not going to get on her clothes, like she's all about the work, baby. She will very quickly notice Malsuit, and ignore everything else now. I would say, yeah, I think she's actually even gonna stand up and like start to like she's going for it to examine it, and then pause and be like, oh shoot, sorry. This is really cool. Can I look at this? Do you mind? I have never seen anything like this, and I have to figure out how this was made.
Well, I very well can't make you turn your eyeballs off now, can I?
Yes, that is a very good point. Um, uh, can I, and she's like clearly reaching for like, I would say like one of the joint, maybe like your knee. She's like wanting to go to touch one of the joints to try to see how it works.
All right. You do seem to be one of the only people here that knows your way around anything mechanical, so maybe you can help me get it off.
She like halfway through you speaking, just like throws a thumbs up and is down on her knees and is like examining this and is like clearly being careful to not like do whatever. Clearly being careful to not like, I don't know, move. She's aware of the fact that you're inside this armor, and so she has to be careful with it, but is like running her finger along the ridges and like trying to understand exactly how this works. Wow, this is fascinating. You are clearly working with some materials that we do not have here. What is the pink? That is that just for decoration? What is it?
Mal is like growing increasingly more uncomfortable, not necessarily like because of because she's like touching the armor, just like she does not like people being close to her, and it's very evident the more that like the closer she gets, but she is like kind of suffering through it for the art TM. But so like she's just her face is just increasingly getting like redder, but also bitchier as she's like listening to her and looking down and like trying to contemplate how to answer. Well, it's a gemstone, which I have just learned apparently is not universal. It's tourmaline, pink tourmaline, and it well, it doesn't normally do this, but um, it it I've weaponized it.
She is like fascinated looking at this, and she doesn't look at you for most of your talking, and is still kind of looking at the armor. And then on your last word, she's clearly looking up to ask you a question. She even like opens her mouth to start to say something. And then, I mean, you said it was evident. It's very evident that you're uncomfortable. Yeah, like really obvious. Okay. Yeah, she looks up and starts to say like, "Oh, but how?" Oh, and she like stands up and like brushes off her knees and takes a few steps back, and she's like, sorry. Sometimes I get a little bit sorry. Uh I'm guessing you are a little, well, I mean, you did just come here and seems like here is a little different than where you're from. Did you want to still be in that? I mean, I don't think you need to still be in that. We're not really under attack right now.
Well, it's not supposed to be permanent. This is embarrassing. I'm stuck. There's supposed to be a release button and it turns into a little necklace and it's stuck.
Oh, okay. I can try to help with that if you're okay with that. Where is this release button usually?
She balls her tiny little fist up and then like smacks herself real hard in the chest. Like so. And then she
So
like
usually, so usually when you do that, it turns back into a necklace, but now it's not.
precisely.
Okay. One second. And she takes a second and is examining the spot. I was gonna try to do this in chat, but I'm just gonna do this over here. Joey, I don't want to like step on your toes. Is if she is genuinely, do you know, or do you have a plan for what it is that's keeping this from retracting?
I'm just assuming that it's still a prototype, so it's just like rusted or something. Just needs some like
Okay.
grease.
So
Yeah.
if she is genuinely very mechanically inclined, she would probably be able to fix it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not like anything like major. It's a prototype.
Okay. All right. So she's like taking a look at it. She's like, it seems to me, given the construction here, that you might be more magically inclined than myself. But I think this might be a simple mechanical failure. And she turns and kind of like rummages through one of these several like crates underneath this. The table itself is very well organized, but then you've got like crates underneath just full of stuff that she clearly knows where everything is, but it just looks like stuff. And she peeks through and gets something, and essentially an equivalent to some oil, and like runs it very carefully along the seams, and then takes a step back and is like, "You want to try again? See if it'll work now."
All right. Well, I'm cautiously optimistic, but let's try this again. And then like she like looks down at her hand, which is already like pretty red from like smacking her chest and like whacks it a couple times again. Um, and then it's not quite a Sailor Moon magical girl transformation, but it's pretty close.
So can you describe the necklace after it retracts into the necklace? Oh, and is the tiara still there? I have to know.
Um, no, the tiara is not still there. I would say that's probably part of the suit. So I was imagining that it's like a little like just like a pendant made out of pink tourmaline, like nothing flashy, nothing that would like draw anybody's attention, except here apparently where pink tourmaline doesn't exist.
Um, okay. So you definitely have a moment of just like shock and awe on Arabella's face of like, whoa, okay, all right. She as she continues, she pauses for a second and just goes, I am definitely gonna ask you more questions about that later. Um, I suppose I should probably introduce myself to the rest of you though. Hi, I'm Arabella. I I don't really have a title. I'm not used to being in, I guess I've been recruited to be the camp, I don't know, tinkerer, armorer, whatever they need. Uh, Most people who do stuff like this, use more magic than anything else. I've always liked leaning into the mechanical side more, so I'm a little less held back by not having my magic now. I can fix anything. Hopefully, none of you have. It doesn't appear like any of the rest of you have a large suit of armor that you need fixing. She would have, I think the mice would have like met her before, not necessarily like worked closely with her before, but they would have met her probably. She's a very common go-to for like weapons and armor and things like that. Clearly not. And I think any of you who have any mechanical knowledge as well would be able to tell that it's not so much that she makes anything. You don't look and see like she's in the process of blacksmithing something. It would be more like fixing and upgrading and adding to things. Yeah. I guess I mean, she's going to be a little bit fascinated by Mal just overall. If you ever need to use my workspace, I'm fine with that. Just let me know and try to put everything back where it goes. I don't have everything labeled like I do back at my shop, but hopefully it's fairly obvious. Uh, yeah. Do any of you need anything right now? She's already like she's sat back down and one of her hands, she doesn't even fully realize it, is like inching back towards that mirror. Like, I'm gonna go back to that now.
All right. Onto the White Rabbit then. And as they start walking, Chauncey does kind of like nod at the group and say, "Yes, she is always like that."
Arabella overhears him say the White Rabbit, and she just kind of like chuckles under her breath and goes, "Good luck," and goes back to is touching out her glasses again and putting on the other pair and going back to her work.
I will lead them to the typical whereabouts of the rabbit.
What could be so bad about a rabbit? A rabbit's different here. It's just a bunny, right?
Who said anything was bad about him?
Well, she just wished us luck, and the way the pockets that little fellow was talking was not great.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to influence your first impressions. I'd say just go into it with an open mind and an open heart and make your own adventure.
As if she's just suddenly realizing that she's talking to the mice again, she like, I'm gonna go over here.
They do not notice.
Okay, so as you are led to the area that the mice know the White Rabbit is currently inhabiting, the first thing that you notice is that this area looks out of place. Everything else around here, whether it's something that's been there for a while because of Lost Boys, it looks kind of ramshackle because that's their vibe. Almost everyone else looks slightly ramshackle because they've only been here for, a week or so at most. But this does not look like that. There's like full on like oak wooden furniture, like nice oak wooden furniture in the middle of this forest. This place sticks out like a sore thumb. Sorry, I'm scrolling for something. Instead of the same kind of like canvas a lot of people using, he's got much nicer material. He even has like one wall that's basically like a tapestry hanging from a branch to be one of the sides of his. You can see like a very, very beautiful little tea set in the center that looks like breakable as hell in the midst of all this chaos. And everything is like perfectly in its place. The other, another couple things you can notice is there is a very large map hanging from one wall, and well, makeshift wall. And there is also a very large, very ornate mirror next to that map. I was meaning to do this all session and I haven't been. Does anyone have anything they want to like investigate of that before you actually talk to the White Rabbit?
Should I drop the map in chat?
Yeah. Well, cool. If we want to, I mean, if no one has questions, we can we can have you meet this infamous rabbit.
I would say like there's a lot on the map, so maybe if people have questions about the map, they can ask those later.
Also, the
Yes.
quality isn't great. You can't zoom in and read the little text.
We were having trouble with this when Jupiter and I were looking at it. That
If
like one
you-
time I opened it and it was all blurry, and the next time I opened it and I could zoom in and I could see like every tiny detail.
You're gonna have to open it in your browser. So like
Yeah, if you
were
open it
looking
in
at
browser, it
Discord,
works.
It won't work. You can either download it or open it in your browser and it should load okay.
So
Katie,
Jupiter, we were talking. Oh, go ahead.
when we were playing in the prologue, was it the Beast Castle that was surrounded by the crystal, or
No, it is the. I mean, it's unlabeled, but the royal castle in the like near the center of the map at the Royal Meadow.
oh, okay, yeah, the big castle, that makes sense. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, that is what now is surrounded by crystals and all that good crap. And has a tower blown off of it. Yeah. So Jupiter, we were talking about this. Is he back already?
He is back already. He is impeccably put together already. There's no sign of his travels. As the characters approach, they see a white rabbit folk. He is dressed in a quite lovely red vest lined with gold, lovely shining buttons, nice light yellow pants, and no shoes, obviously. He is currently, as they're approaching, whereas when they approached other like Arabella and she was ignoring them, it was because she was concentrating on something. This is a very practiced ignoring. This is a very like you see one ear twitch as he hears you approach, but he is gently pouring tea and he is not paying attention. So he is busying himself with his tea set as you all approach. But he does say, "Oh, Sir Mice, how kind of you to join me." And he produces 3 mice-sized teacups.
The Chauncey kind of like bows his head and walks over to sit with him, and Patrick's like, "All right, White Rabbit," and walks over, and then the Master of Darkness gets up and like bows on your shoulder and is just like, "Until later."
Well, I heard it was your unbirthday. He starts handing out teacups to the mice. You must have a cup of tea. It's your own birthday.
It typically is.
But after interacting with the mice, he does not pay much attention to the rest of the group, other than like a cursory glance.
Well, should we introduce the rest of them, you think? Well, yes.
If you must.
And Patrick just kind of waves over. All right, come on, introduce yourselves.
Anastasia curtsies and says, "Oh, I am Anastasia. Hello."
The rabbit just kind of looks her up and down, bows his head. Well met. But goes back to his tea.
Mal steps forward then, like, despite like not wanting people to be in her space, she is not shy about invading other people's spaces. Like, she steps right up to him and holds out her little gloved hand and is like, "Hello, my name is Mal. We've heard a lot about you."
As her hand comes closer, he simply shifts and places a teacup into her grasp and says, "Quite."
"Oh, no, thank you. I detest the stuff."
And he takes it back with a clear disapproval.
Milo leans over to Mal and just says, "I don't like this guy."
This guy does not quite enjoy your presence either, but
Glad
I
we're on the
understand the
same page.
necessity of.
So we still need
I was gonna say,
Tristan and Leo.
as if he could see, Chauncey looks over expectantly, like kind of turning his nose at the people who have not introduced themselves, but just like in the vague direction. He's a little off, but like you understand that he's pointing at you.
The sheer amount of skepticism on Leo's face when he kind of gives a nod and 'cause Leo, well met and all that.
From glancing at Leo, would you be able to tell that he's a doctor? I can't remember if there was anything that was.
He is still carrying his like medical bag. He has basically a big pouch on his like on his belt that is a medical bag with a little white cross and everything, and then his shield's on his back, and he's carrying his hammer.
The rabbit does glance at his bag, with a little bit more interest than he has shown the rest of the party, and just kind of like nods, again, just quiet and like politely.
And he shakes his flask.
Just sort of waves and goes, "Tristan, pleasure to meet you."
Another quiet nod. I'm trying to decide if he offers anyone tea or anyone else tea, and I don't think so.
Mal ruined the tea party.
Well, I assume that you are here for information.
Yeah.
Althea says we gotta get the magic back. But we don't really know how to do that.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Althea says we have to get the magic back, but we don't really know how to do that.
Since your return, well, you have all been touring. He says this with as much disapproval as possible, despite it being fucking necessary. He's an ass. I went on a journey. I scoped out Hook's ship, and I found some information that might be interesting.
Do tell, oh great and powerful rabbit.
Quite. Now, I hear that you have discovered the ring, correct? I believe I have discovered the powers that it has bestowed upon Hook. For some reason, he has been trusted with this magic. He turns and there is a mirror kind of like balanced on a kind of like a dresser top. And he points to and gently touches the edge of it. And on the on the mirror, it magic mirror style transforms to basically a memory of what the rabbit has seen. And on screen, you see a rather closer view of the ship from a different angle, where the rabbit is looking down on the ship, and there is a crew member who has been drinking or has become discombobulated somehow. He has fallen and knocked his head and has fallen off of the ship and into the water. And as this sort of carries out, everybody's starting to run around the ship surface, and a few people kind of like throw a rope out, but this man is obviously drowning. He is knocked in the head. He is not treading water. He disappears beneath the surface and does not come up. There's a trail of bubbles sort of situation. And as you watch, Hook disdainfully walks to the edge of the boat and kind of gestures with the hook that has the ring on it. And the man pops up to the top of the surface again. And then just slowly is unable to tread water even still and is starting to drown again. And this happens 3 more times before somebody finally realizes that he cannot swim and dives into the water to grab him, to pull him onto the ship before Hook again resuscitates him. And even as the man is getting up, he is starting to yell and scream at this man for having lied about not being able to swim when working on a ship. At this point, the vision cuts off, and the rabbit returns to the rest of the party. As you can see by this scene I had to witness, it appears that Hook has been given the ability to bring his crew back to life in some sense. Again, I don't understand why this power was given to him, considering everything about them. However, this is unfortunate, considering that this makes him, well, nigh untouchable, as he can now continue to bring his crew back to life whenever they go down.
Not to interrupt, I assume everyone else just saw something. Could,
I'm sorry, gotta break character for a second. I love the fact that Jupiter and I had a whole ass conversation about this, and we both once again fucking forgot.
It's because they are able to move around with sniffing and everything like that.
We're fully functioning. We're just blind.
Just blind.
I assume someone just kind of explains it to them real quick.
So what I'm going to go ahead and make a choice to do that I wasn't sure on, but you've made the choice for me, so it's great, is I'm going to say that the magic mirror has sound. So you have heard the splashing, and you heard at the end Hook yell something along the lines of, "You bloody idiot, how dare you not tell me that you can't swim? I would have never allowed you on this ship." And he's like still screaming at him when the memory fades.
Leo's gonna kind of clear his throat and, well, are you sure that he just didn't have that to begin with? Because I can do that.
Certainly he did not. And can you do it on repeat as many times as you need without any materials needed or energy spent?
I mean, it's magic. I can do it a few times.
It appears it is as flamboyant as Hook himself is, for he can use it as many times and as frivolently as he would like, including this stupid incident. There is good news, however. There is rumor that one of the villagers in the nearby woodland village, um, Gaston, he has a apparently a magic item that may help in this endeavor.
Oh, not Gaston.
What's wrong with Gaston? Who?
He's just a bit of a dick.
Oh, well, we have plenty of those here already. What's one more?
I know this one. Well, kind of.
Worth checking out, if anything. Another nearby place is Rose's cottage. That would be another place to investigate for possible help in this coming whatever with Hook.
What's at Rose's cottage? Besides cottage.
Maybe a rose.
Well, fairies, of a different sort. Than the ones that you may have met here. Um, Fairies of a... Hey, Katie, I don't know how to describe them.
Yeah, you're good. I was about to jump in with, I think, you have probably well, the boys have probably interacted with them before, specifically with probably Fauna, where she has asked them to I wouldn't quite call her an agoraphobe, but it's kind of that kind of vibe. So she has asked them to go find things for her that weren't crazy hard to find, but were kind of random. And she didn't want to have to go and, search for these things. She's kooky. And she lives with her two sisters. So it's Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. And they live at Rose's cottage. And you know that she told you all about the plans for these random items she was gonna have you bring her because she makes magical items. So she had a very strange idea that it didn't make any sense to any of the mice, but they were like, "Cool, if you're gonna pay us to find the stuff, we're good with that."
We do know those who live at Rose's cottage, and well, they certainly have unique personalities, but no danger at all. They make things that could definitely be helpful if they were successful in their endeavors.
Well, I do like other makers, so perhaps we should check with them first before we go to this Gaston fellow. Yes?
Would be more pleasant, certainly.
I would throw out there for the mice. Um, I'm sure you've met Gaston, probably didn't hang out with him much. But he has a tavern that they probably wouldn't hate going to. They just don't like him, if that makes sense.
One more thing before you go, then. Don't go north.
Well, you can't just leave it at that. What's north? Because now I want to go north.
I do not know yet, but it smells like death.
The mice do immediately start sniffing all three in different directions.
When you say don't go north, do you mean directly north of here, or do you mean north in general relative to any point in direction?
If we're looking at the map, he points at the map behind him. He says, "Don't go towards the swamp."
As he points at the map, I would like to take a look at it, and just like take in as much as possible. Um, I have a neat feat, which basically means that I have a photographic memory. So I
Oh,
just
fuck
want to,
yes.
I want to take in all of it.
Wait, are you complaining about how a swamp smells? And that's your reason to
No,
not go?
no, I do not mind how the swamp smells normally. I'm saying that since the attack, the destruction, it has smelled like something new has moved into that neighborhood, and I would avoid them.
All right, don't go near Death Swamp. We will remember that. Try to stay away from death. That shouldn't be too hard to remember, right, Milo?
Dying at I think at that point I think you notice Althea very slowly walking over. Once she gets within earshot, she calls out, "Are we playing nice?"
Why, my lady, of course. As nice as everyone plays.
She chuckles. She's very clearly like not bothered. Um, well, I apologize for disappearing like that. I hope that you have been able to see what you need to see of the camp. I'm of course happy to show you anything else. I needed a moment. Um, I wanted to see what your plans were moving forward. I'm assuming that Rabbit has been able to share with you what he knows, and give you a few leads. Do we have an idea of where you were headed next?
Not the swamp, that's for sure.
He sort of raises her eyebrows and nods, like, okay, all right.
We're gonna go visit Rose's cottage, I think, and then I guess Gaston.
She sort of smiles, like, indulgently, of like, I know he isn't always the most pleasant to deal with, but he is usually useful for
An ass.
his talents. I'm sure you'll have a warm greeting from Rose's cottage. I would appreciate stopping by there as well. I haven't heard directly from any of them since the explosion. I assume I would have heard if something terrible had happened, but it would be nice to just get confirmation that they're all right. Um, they're not they're not probably going to be quite as affected as our small friends like Tinkerbell, but they are still fairy folk, and I am sure that the sudden loss of their magic has been quite a blow to them. I'm sure, I'm sure, especially to well, to Merryweather. I would appreciate if you are able to see them, if you would let me know if they're all right. They they can handle themselves, I know, but I do always worry about them.
I wouldn't mind finding a place to set our stuff down before we travel anymore.
Yes, I think that would be best. She kind of looks around, and you can see that the sun has not gone down yet, but it is definitely the point where taking a trip to wherever you're going to go is probably not the best idea to start now. Um, that was the other half of why I wanted to come over here. I've been asking a few people around to help make sure that we have material set aside for you. There are a few open places within some of the hidey holes in the tree, but given that she kind of gestures around to, given that all of you that have joined us are of uh, and she clearly like almost like stops herself from saying it one way and looks at the rabbit and goes, since all of you are the same size as I am, it may make more sense for you to set up your own accommodations around the tree instead of inside. You may find it a bit cramped. But anything that you need to be set up, we are happy to help with. Obviously, in other circumstances, we would be able to be much more hospitable. But without the ability, well, I'm sure you heard from Tinkerbell. I'm sure she's absolutely devastated that she can't help you decorate yet. But once she has her abilities back, I'm sure she'll be happy to help you make your space more comfortable. But we have enough of the basics to help you do whatever you need to. And then I would suggest that we regroup in the morning.
That sounds like a good plan.
So unless any of you have something you would want to, okay. So the plan for the rest of the session is for each of you to get to pick out your space and describe your space at camp. Do I have any, like, does anyone want to pull Althea for a conversation, or the rabbit, or anyone else you've met so far? Does anyone have an RP thing they want to do before we do that and finish up?
I think Leo would at least like to talk to Chauncey, if not also Althea, to see if there's anything medical that he can assist with in between travel and stuff like that, actual quest stuff. But that can also wait.
there's nothing urgent. Otherwise, I think she would have already said something to you. So if you want to have a conversation about that now, you can, or we can bring that up next session when you
I'll wait till
wake
Em
up in the
gets
morning.
back and maybe pull Chauncey aside to offer his assistance and stuff. But that again doesn't have to happen this session. Can happen next session.
Well, Em's back. I don't know if you want to bring that up.
Yeah. On the walk back towards where they're camping, he's gonna just kind of like slow himself to be walking next to Chauncey and kind of clear his throat really awkwardly and kind of look down at him and just I brought a full medical bag with me if you need anything or if they need anything.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you to offer. Thank you. I must say, mostly the fairies are suffering from lack of magic, and unfortunately the bandages aren't going to do much to heal that wound, but that's certainly good to know if something else of more physical nature comes into play.
If you need anything, that's what I'm good for.
Ah, yes, another healer. We do tend to be reduced down to our medical talents, don't we?
Well, not just. And he kind of shoulders the hammer and then remembers that Chauncey can't see and kind of laughs awkwardly to himself. War makes you learn some things pretty quickly.
I would imagine so. Well, I haven't experienced anything to that level. If you ever need to process that with someone, I'm here.
He laughs kind of awkwardly, mutters a thank you, takes a swig of his flask, and takes 4 very quick steps to be away from Chauncey. No therapy here, thank you. Goodbye.
Right, have a good night then.
Any other RP things? Grabbing someone you've met, grabbing another character.
Mal's just going to be like, which mouse was bitching about Gaston? Was it Patrick? She's just going to be like, what talents was she talking about? Is he a knitter? Does he do crocheting, perhaps? What could he possibly offer us?
That's Gaston. Probably
Yes.
jug of ale and stab in the back.
Well, quite frankly, I think we deserve a jug of ale after what we've been through.
Well, I don't know if this camp is going to offer that, but tavern, we'll get there.
Oh, maybe we can rustle up some decent gin.
I've only heard of one gin. I've never met him, though.
No, gin like the kind you drink. It's clear. Tastes like pine trees.
Oh, I've eaten pine trees before. It's not especially to my liking.
Well, I promise you'll like this.
Okay, you just let me know when you find it, and we'll try it out.
You know, I wasn't sure about you at first, but you're not so bad. Just, stay down there and not on me.
Well, that's my brother. You got to look out for. Leslie likes to climb things, so
I can understand that. I like to climb things too. I like to be tall, but not like that. No, thank you.
I'll try to get a word in with him, but he doesn't really like to listen to us.
Also relatable. Maybe perhaps I'm a little more like your brother than I want to admit, but don't tell anybody I admitted that. So, yes, I'm going to walk away from you now because talking to a mouse is a bit too weird for me. So have a good night and goodbye.
We'll work on that. We'll warm you up. I'll talk. Good night.
I was gonna type it in chat, but like I'm just gonna say it out loud. If that's too weird for her, she needs to buckle up. It's gonna get way weirder than a talking mouse. Anything else, or do you want to start talking about our species?
Does Anastasia want to talk to Leslie since he's still on her shoulder?
Well, he did get off to go get his tea.
You know what? Sure, I'll talk to Leslie.
If you can find him.
Wait, Leslie. Wait, I don't know your real name. Master Master of Darkness. Darkness Master.
You hear some pitter patter and then like a thump on your shoulder.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
So, like, you've been here for how long?
What do you like here at the Lost Boys tree?
Yes, I'm very new. I don't know who's newest or new or not new. Old is that what the word is in common?
We've only been here for like 5 days, Katie, or has it been longer than that? How long ago
Wait, the mice?
Yeah, how long ago was the initial explosion?
I'm gonna say like a week.
Well, we've been here for like a week, but everyone else just came here today, maybe a couple hours before you.
Okay, so I'm not like too late to the party, as they say.
Oh, I think the party wouldn't really start without you.
Oh my goodness, you're such a charmer. You'd be great at the parties back home. People would love you.
I'd love to be your plus one.
Oh. I'm not gonna romance a mouse. I'm not gonna romance a mouse. I'm not. Stop making me want to romance a mouse. I mean, I'm about to go and set up my camp area, and you can stop by anytime you want. You're very friendly.
Oh, I will. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. I will let you know. I will probably set up a podium because I'm a paladin and I'm going to put it up for Goddess Celine. So I think that's her name. Celine, we'll say, yeah, totally. Yeah, confidence. That's her name. So I'll just let you know it's going to be like in the center of the room. So like, make sure you don't run into it.
I don't run into things. I'm very dexterous.
Oh, that I'm not.
That's all right.
No, that's okay. You know where makeup and what I lack in dexterity, I make up for in intelligence. That's my top stat.
And beauty.
Oh my gosh! This mouse is about to make me act up. Oh, you're so kind. Oh my goodness. I like you a lot more than the bachelors that my parents sent my way.
Oh, is it one of those like arranged marriage things?
Yeah, it's trying to get the good political powers. And so,
Did you get the powers?
Oh no, I don't. I mean, I do have some powers because
But don't do it unless you're getting the power.
Oh, I got what you mean. You don't mean real actual power. You mean metaphorical power.
May either. I mean, as if it makes you feel powerful, that's what matters.
It's a Celine makes me feel powerful, but I guess me having my own shooting for my own hand, as some might say.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I'm still new to this language. I'm Elven.
Maybe you could teach me how to speak with you in your own tongue.
I would love that. I love teaching. Let me see.
I'm a very quick learner.
Let me see. Okay, I'll teach you. Okay, this one word. It's clog.
Clog.
That means handsome.
I'm gonna interrupt you really fast. No, this is adorable, but I just want to let you know something. When she says this other word in another language, you can hear that she's speaking in another language, but you immediately know what the word means.
Tea.
Before she tells you, you know what the word means.
That was very interesting.
But yes, I'd love to teach you more. Just remember, stop by whenever you want.
I will. I'll give you some time to set up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Just let us know if you need anything.
Oh, of course I will.
He kind of scampers off into the dark.
But
okay. Mal, you said it. Mal, you're gonna have to roll some stealth then. Joey, you gotta roll stealth if you're spying.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out if somebody was knocking on our front door.
It's
Okay,
fine. Just
one
roll
second.
stealth.
1 second. I have to pull my dice out. Dirty 20.
Nice. Okay, so neither of those two have any. They are so distracted by like this surprisingly flirtatious conversation that they did not expect to have happen. They have no clue what's going on around them. So you heard everything, and they have no idea you heard everything. So Tris, hi. So everyone's walking in the general same direction. And you feel a tug on the, do you have like a cloak, or if a small child's pulling on your clothes, what are they pulling on?
Yeah, she would have some kind of like a cloak on. Mm-hmm.
So you feel a tug on your cloak.
She turns around.
And you see the same small child that was forced to be the speaker earlier, that was uncomfortable being the speaker, but was forced to be by that group who told you all about pockets. And is staring up at you with really big eyes and just goes, "Why are you pink?"
I and she just kind of stops and thinks for a moment of how to explain this to a child. She's like, well, that's just the color that I am. Tieflings can be all kinds of colors. I mean, no, I was born with pink skin.
So you've always been pink. You didn't pick it. Do you like pink?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do.
I think if I got to pick, I think I'd be green.
Oh yeah, why green?
Because then I could blend in even better.
Oh, you don't like being seen then? You're kind of shy?
I think it's just easier. I don't know. Stuff that we do, it's easier if you don't get spotted. I don't know. I guess we're all really little. So like I know I don't like some of them know magic, but I don't really. So it's just easier. But I've never seen anyone pink before. I've seen, hmm, I guess that, I guess Robin Hood was technically red, but like it's different when it's fur. We don't have people who have skin who are pink. Is everyone pink where you're from?
Well, no, not everyone. I mean, we have all kinds of people. We have regular humans that look like you do. We have I mean, tieflings themselves have all kinds of different skin. There are green tieflings, and we have
There are green
dragonborn.
ones?
Yes, there are green ones.
Oh my gosh. That must be so cool for everyone to get to be different colors. Most people
Yeah,
aren't different
there's
colors here.
oh I mean, I every world is different, I guess.
There's
Just
like
kind of like shifting back and forth, obviously slightly uncomfortable with the conversation.
you can see like behind her a little ways the same two kids who like made her be the one to talk are like whispering to each other and like trying to get her to come back to them. She's like, can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
How do you sleep with those? And she points up at your horns.
On my back.
She like thinks for a second and she goes running off. Cool.
Goodbye.
I thought of that and I had to do it. So it's happened now.
That was great.
Okay, so I think is there anything else? Or are we gonna split off and make our spots?
We can split off and make our spots. I want to talk to Pockets at some point, but I don't really have anything like ready to say, so or ready to
Okay.
trade.
And just FYI, if it's something, I mean, you guys, I'm always up for doing something in chat in between sessions. Especially if
Okay.
it's like um I mean, if you can't tell, the idea is gonna be like this is the if you can't tell, this is the home base. So if it's something that like needs to happen at the tree, like it's something like that, then that would be especially thing that would be easy to do over chat, than having to do it in session. Cool. Okay, so do I have anyone who wants to go first and talk about what they set up for themselves?
Sure. So she is going to have the room. Most of the furniture is going to be pressed against the wall just in case she has any mice guests so that they won't run into anything. But in the center, she is going to set up a podium and that she's going to set her crystal on it. And then she's going to put up some candles. And then she has her book on there and she's going to light all the candles for her little, what's the word? What's the word? For I know. Well, yes, but no. Altar. That's the word. An altar for Celine, and then she's going to start putting some nice, like fluffy pillows because she's a princess. She has to have fluffy pillows, nice plush blanket. Around the room, she's going to have a little dresser so she can have different dresses, and it's going to be tree branches are going to be the roof instead of an actual roof. It's just tree branches, like you know how they have canopies whenever like you drive it like you're in a road and the tree canopies touch each other. That's what it looks like. And she's going to have a nice little rug on the ground in case anybody wants to come in and take their shoes off and just walk around. she's going to have a little teapot where she can make her own tea and a little fire pit in the corner. And there's going to be nice green drapery everywhere. And she's going to have one little book that she leaves by her bed. That is the storybook that her family used to read her when she was a kid, her and her siblings, so that she reads it every night. And that will be Anastasia's room.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I love it.
She's just a little guy. And it's so good. She's just a little guy.
Love her. All right, who wants to go next?
I guess I will. Mal finds a place as far away from everybody else as possible and pulls out her bag of holding and rummages inside of it and throws like 5 million little trinkets out, trying to find her tent because she's gonna go glamping. So she basically, I'm just gonna share it in the chat because I don't really feel like describing it at length. Like it looks like maybe what you would think an archaeologist, like old-timey 1920s, 30s archaeologist tent would look like, kind of, but like as far as tools and everything, but it really looks more like ostentatious because she's extra.
Bohemian.
Yeah. So it's like I throw it in the art channel. It's got lots of like poofy pillows and lights, and like it looks like like a teenage girl took her bedroom from not that she's a teenager, but like took her bedroom from home and threw it in a tent. And it's a fairly large space. Like I think her inventory, like the starting equipment specifies it as a 2-person tent.
So in terms of how far away you can get, just to kind of give an idea, picture the tree as being in the center of a grove. So it would seem probably obvious to Mal that like she doesn't want to go outside of this little open area away from the tree because you don't want to start getting out of line of sight. So she can be like against what is essentially the new tree, like another tree line, if that makes sense. So she's starting to get to the point where there'd be lots of other trees, and she's just against that. So she's still within view of everyone.
Yeah, so she's gonna like fluff all the pillows up and then like poke her head out and look around for Milo, like where the fuck is he?
She's perfect then, because then where is the fuck is Mrs. Milo? I said Mally. I combined Milo and Callie.
So he would set up his tent close to Mal, but far enough away that she still has space. And it's very like the exact opposite of hers. It's very, very simple, kind of military, very simple, like canvas tent. He doesn't have a ton of stuff, just like the basics. And if you look very closely, you can see that there are little constellations like embroidered into the canvas of the tent, but that's about the only detail, fancy thing he's got going on.
Lovely, lovely. All right, so we got Leo, Triss, and the boys.
Go next. Likewise to Milo, Leo's is very sparse. He finds a place that's fairly close to the tree, mostly for like infirmary reasons, and sets up his tent. It's fairly empty, other than like a cot, and he's kind of meticulous about taking care of his armor and his weapon. And he makes sure that the medical bag is kind of tucked under the cot so that he can grab it if he needs it. The only thing that he really takes care about setting up, other than his armor and his weapon, is there is a small double frame with a photo of Lillian and a photo of Bonnie, his daughter, in like grainy black and white old photo in a kind of tarnished copper frame that folds in on itself, that's hinged, that he has been carrying. So it's Bonnie's very young in the picture, and sitting on her mom's lap, and he sets it up next to his cot so that it is facing him when he wakes up, along with a journal. And before he comes back out to like meet up with everybody, he will sit down and write down everything, and it is written as a letter to his wife.
Thanks, I hate it. Oh God. All right, so we got Tris and the boys.
I'll go. So Trish would probably, I don't know if she'd probably have a tent in her pack. But she would have like a couple of, probably like a bedroll, but then also like a couple of like small rugs and a pillow, like some type of makeshift pillow, but also would have like this well-worn blanket that she carries around with her, that she would kind of like smooth on top of her bedroll. She probably has like a few like small items and trinkets, but like nothing really of note. She's got like a I guess like after she's done setting up, before, while she's waiting for everybody else, she's got like a deck of like a well-worn deck of playing cards that she kind of like opens up and then sort of like mindlessly sort of shuffles around a bit and then puts it back in its little box. What else? I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say that's about it for her. Just simple.
Nice. Nice. I will say all of you would have access to, they would definitely have something for all of you who have armor. They would provide you with something that you could like, the really simplistic dummies that you can put the armor on. So you would have something to put your armor on, so you wouldn't have to wear it if you didn't want to. All right. What about the boys? Where are they heading? Where are they staying?
Well, the boys have been here for a weekish. So they have already like made camp in one of the little like tree pockets. And it's, I mean, like they don't see, so it's not decorated, but like there are 3 like well-worn tiny hammocks that like are very quick to put up and like hang up and take down. So like clearly they are like have been well traveled. And then you can kind of tell like just with like their like just stuff, like their backpacks and whatever. One of them is very tidy, like blankets are folded over the hammock. One of them is like normal, like there are a couple things out of place, but it looks lived in. And then there's another one, and it's just like, how does someone even make that big of a mess when you have such little things? Yeah. They're just chilling in a little tree hole.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so you each find and create your own little space, and are able to finally take a rest for the night, and be prepared for the next day, where you kind of will probably properly start your adventure. And that is where we're going to end session for today.